Welcome back to Mental Wellness Evolution. I'm Jeff, and thanks for being here. This is part 8 of my 10 talk series entitled The Top 10 Lessons I've Learned on My Healing and Wellness Journey, okay? And this is talk number 8, the importance of your mental health, self-care, and dealing with toxic shame, okay? So, especially for men, myself included, I know that there's a certain element of shame that comes with talking about our mental health and our mental well-being. We're taught to repress emotion. We're taught not to show it. We need to be very stoic and we need to just kind of bury our emotions, and they're not that important. And what this does is it festers within ourselves this shame, and this shame becomes toxic when it starts to turn inward and we start attacking ourselves and taking shots at ourselves and not accepting ourselves and beating ourselves into the ground, okay? So toxic shame says, I am bad. I am a failure. I am worthless. I am not worthy of love. And if we have this type of mentality, guys, it is absolutely crushing. I lived from this perspective for many, many, many years. It manifested in my life as just negativity, constant, being down on myself, never feeling like I was good enough, not going after things that I truly wanted in life, and just being ashamed of being who I was. Now, I learned pretty quick that I could have a few beers and go out and I could kind of turn that aspect of myself off. And, you could go kind of laugh and meander around for a little while and it was funny and, you could get out of that. But then like everybody would go away and it would just be me left alone in my thoughts. And it was just like this crushing weight that was upon me. And every day it was hard. And it got to the point where, I didn't even want to be here. I didn't want to be around in life. It eventually ended up with me in, crisis at the hospital because I was done. I didn't want to be here anymore. I didn't want to do this. Life was too hard. And I just destroyed myself psychologically with this shame that I felt inside of it. And I was just embarrassed of it. I couldn't talk about it. I couldn't go to anybody because I felt like, we're men. We're supposed to be able to deal with this. We're supposed to do this on our own. We're supposed to be able to just handle everything. And I was being crushed under the weight of this existence. And that was kind of the first time that I'd ever really reached out about it. And the interesting thing is people actually can kind of see this within you. And people would ask me and I would just come back to myself because no. I was living from that perspective. No, I'm okay. No, I'm fine. When I wasn't fine at all inside of myself. And overcoming this on the healing journey has probably been the most beneficial thing to me in my life, okay? So there's a difference between guilt and shame. Guilt is when you do something and you're like, you feel a certain amount of regret within yourself and you can maybe go back and apologize, you wronged somebody. Guilt says, I did wrong. Shame says, I am bad. And when we're living with a perspective and that's who we identify ourselves with, guys, it is an extremely challenging thing, okay? But what really benefited me absolutely the most, and the paradox of this whole thing was the more I started to talk about it, the more I started to heal that shame within me. One of the greatest quotes I ever picked up was from a psychologist I had, and he said that shame dies when we shine light on it. So we started bringing light to these things within myself, and I started looking at them in myself, and I started talking about them, and I started, I did some therapy and stuff like that, which I think was extremely valuable for me, but also like allowing yourself to be seen in that light by people that you love, and getting that support starts to push through. When you go to somebody that loves you and cares about you, and they receive you and can be in that space with you where you can expose these parts of yourselves and truly be vulnerable and get down to the core of your being, of who you are and what's truly going on inside of you, and you experience acceptance in those places, it's a beautiful thing for your healing path. And this is what I've talked about connection on a previous talk, and it's so important to have these types of people in your life. It's so important to have that community and those people that they still see the best in you even when you don't see the best in yourself, and they can pick you up and put you back on the path, because sometimes we need people that believe in us oftentimes when we don't believe in ourselves. And this is why I talk about it being important as men too, guys. When your brothers come to you and they're vulnerable with you about this type of thing, please, for the love of everything, do not attack them. Do not be we've all got problems and everything else. Don't be that guy. I swear, promise you guys, that is such an important moment for men, especially when we reach out and we ask for help and it's thrown back in our face. that person might never ever ask for help again. This is so important, guys. When your brothers come to you and they're asking for help and they're being vulnerable and exposing that pain and that suffering that's going on inside of them, give them space. Be with them. Reassurance, not from a place of judgment. And then understanding, guys, we don't have to solve people's problems. And I think this is an important thing that we all need to learn in society, is that when people come to us and they're kind of unloading some of this stuff on us, we don't have to solve the problem. A lot of times they just want to know that somebody cares, that somebody's there. And I mean, you can even ask person if they come to you like, hey man, like, are you seeking some advice, some guidance on this? And if they say, yeah, absolutely, like, what do you think I should do? Okay, well, in that perspective, in that application, we can go about, okay, here's what I think, here's my opinion. But if not, if they just want you to be there with them, just sit there with them. Even if you're just sitting in silence, allow yourself to be comfortable in that silence. And it is uncomfortable, guys. It is. But that's a thing within ourselves too, because a lot of times we want to fix people's problems because it's making us uncomfortable. And then, in order for us to feel better inside of ourselves, it's like, oh, I need to solve this. I need to solve this. No, we don't. We just need to be there. We need to show people that we care. We need to just give them space to express themselves and allow that little bit of a container for them to sit in, to let it all out. And sometimes, guys, that is such a monumental thing for people. And I said, shame dies when we shine light on it. I'll remember the first time I ever talked about this type of stuff. I'll never forget it. I was like probably a couple months down when I first started down this path. And I made this big long post on Facebook about like what I'd gone through, the struggles I'd had with anxiety and depression and those types of things. And I remember sitting there looking at it before I posted at it, and my anxiety was driving me through the roof, and I was almost shaking and I was scared, and I was like, well, what happens if everybody unloads on me? And I moved through that fear, and you know what I received? Support. People came from everywhere and commented. You almost get emotional thinking about it right now, because it was just like, oh my goodness, like, people care. Like, this is one thing our mind will do with us when we're struggling with mental health, guys, is it makes you feel like people don't care, and you start to feel like a burden on yourself, and you're not a burden to the people that love you. And it's a challenging thing because it gets inside of your head. And we especially as men, we want to be able to handle our own business. We want to be able to do it on our own. We need to be, we want to feel that within ourselves, but it's okay to ask for help, guys. It's okay to reach out. It's okay to speak what's going on inside of yourselves. Like, men are dying all over the world because they're not willing to speak up, to say something. And this is why I feel such a responsibility in a sense to get out and talk about this type of stuff, because I've been through this. I've seen the lowest of the lows, and I've went to work on myself with support of others and did the work on myself, and I've turned everything around, and I'm down the road several years now, and life is great again, and I can smile and be happy and joyful. And I mean, if I could show that guy who was stuck in that moment where he would got to, I don't think he would have even believed it in some sense, okay? So it's important, guys. Men's mental health matters, and we get trashed all over the world in a lot of senses sometimes, but that's why I feel like as brothers, we need to take care of ourselves. Like, don't get me wrong, guys. I love women, and I have women in my life that I absolutely adore, and I do have women that I know as friends that I can go and be vulnerable with, and I love and cherish them dearly. But then there's also that, like, we need our brothers. We need to take care of each other. We need to help each other move through these things, show them love when they're dealing with this shame, because that's one of the most challenging things to overcome, is that toxic shame where we're internally inside of our own script. We beat ourselves down into the dirt and that type of thing. And like, when guys see each other and we build each other up and we see that we want the best for our brothers, it helps so much, guys. And so I think this is such an important topic. It's just men's mental health, and that your mental health is important, and that it matters, and that we need to actually get to the work of dealing with what's going on in ourselves on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so we need to start doing the things every day that we need to do in order to make ourselves healthy. Okay, I established what I call pillars in my life. These are the things for me that bring me to my best mental health and wellness. Now, these can be different for every guy in the world, or woman if you're watching this video, but find those things that you know are going to help you on your wellness journey, okay? So my three pillars for myself are journaling, exercise, and meditation. These are like not questioned things that I have to do, if not every day, regularly. I have to do these things, and these are the things that sometimes, we require those discipline and the consistency to get into, because sometimes it's challenging, guys. Life isn't like, it's not like it's all roses and peachy cream now. Like, there's still things in the world. I still face challenges. I still have insecurities that I work through and I push myself through, and I still have bad days just like everybody else does. But I understand now that these are my pillars. These are my things I need to do in order for me to be healthy. I need to go to the gym. I'm struggling today. I got to go out. I got to lift weights. And if I'm like, I don't want to lift weights, okay, I need to get my body moving. I got to go for a walk or something. Just get out and play. Playing ball in the summertime has been a great one for me. Journaling is great, guys, because it's a great place if you don't have somebody to talk to, that you can just spill your guts out, man. And you can get journals that you can write in, which is great. Or you can put them, I have one on my phone that I can pull out at any time. I used to do this at work and stuff. You're having a day, things are going crazy inside of yourself, get it out, spew, just let it go. And sometimes just getting it out and looking at it and reading it back can be so cathartic in and of itself. Okay, guys. And then meditation for me has just been like that same thing. It's a practice for me for not only like fostering inner peace, but it was like such a great tool for me learning how to disconnect from these thoughts, from these belief systems, and being able to sit back and give it a little bit of space when you start saying those things to yourself, and getting in the habit of policing your self-talk and that type of thing. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more. But find those things in your life. They can be anything, guys. It can be art is fantastic, creating, being creative, writing, poetry, writing music, singing, dancing, all of those things, whatever it may be in whatever form, and it could be cooking for you. It could be, building stuff. It could be, just being with your friends. It could be whatever it is, guys. Find what you need and deal with it on a day-to-day basis, guys, because mental health is a day-to-day process. It's something we have to be vigilant with. We have to take care of it. We have to be mindful about how we're going about it, what we're doing in our lives, and then being honest about what the behaviors are that are contributing to our struggles and our mental health as we go about the process. Okay, so work on this daily, guys, and it is a moment-to-moment process. But this is where life is, guys. They say take addiction, same thing. It's like one day at a time. Well, mental health is the same as addiction. It's one day at a time, and oftentimes it's one moment at a time. It's like we're in the fire of these things one moment at a time. It's just coaching yourself through, coaxing yourself through, breathing yourself back into presence, meditation, maybe going out and doing a lot of those things. And depression will do that to you too, where I used to want to go jam with my band, and I would sit at home and be like, I don't want to go. But that's your depression. That's not you, who you are. Deep down you want to go. And then when you get there, sometimes you can start to settle back in, and you can, start to embrace the things in life that are actually bringing you the joy. Okay, guys? So dealing with these things, like I said, that toxic shame is one of those things that's very challenging to overcome. You might find therapy useful. Maybe you can get a coach or somebody who can help guide you through those types of things. I learned from online, guys. Like, I learned so much stuff from books and YouTube podcasts and things like that. And the lion's share of what I share with people, that's where that came from. And even if you go to therapy and you're with a therapist who's fantastic, if you go once a week, that's 1 hour of your week. What are you going to do for the rest of your time? Like, you're not just going to go there and all of a sudden a therapist is magically going to fix you. We're going to equip you with the tools you need in order to help maybe fix yourself. But it's ultimately the work that we do on ourselves that becomes our gift to ourselves. We believe that we're worth it. That's why we go to work on ourselves. Okay, guys? So prioritize your mental health. Brothers, take care of your brothers, please. Guys come to you, accept them. Don't judge them. The last thing a person needs at that point of their life is judgment. And if they're reaching out to you, if they were like me, I promise you guys that it took every ounce of who they are to reach out and talk to you in that regard. Please don't do it, because you might be the last person they ever reach out to in regard. If I'd have made that Facebook post and got ripped to shreds, I hate to think what would have happened to me. But because I was given that love and support, you see it around you, it builds you up and it starts to say, okay, I can do this. And I do have people behind it. People do care. And we have to show our friends and our people that care and like tell people you love them over and over again, guys. Build your friends up, encourage them. You see people making progress on their path, pump their tires, man. I'm telling you, regardless of what they're doing, if they're trying to lose weight, you see them losing weight, pump their tires, man. Inflate. Think inflation, right? You want to just build people up because, those words matter to people. And even like I said, if you can get the gumption to start speaking about what you're going through, start going out about it, that has been one of the most healing things for me. Even doing these talks and stuff, it's another step in my evolution. It helps me to move through and gives me, fills me with gratitude that I'm like, I talk with a good friend of mine often about how grateful I am to still be here, to still be enjoying life. But I had to work to get here, but I had that support and I work through those toxic shames and I work on the daily self-care and I take care of myself and I make it an absolute priority in my life. So do that for yourself, guys. Love yourself, work on that within yourself, build that relationship. We're going to talk about that in a later talk, okay? But understand that it's important, guys. This is something we can never take for granted. It's something that I know I have to stay vigilant because at any moment, something could come up that sends me right back into that space. So the stronger I can get in the days when I'm doing really well and I'm doing the extra work, it's just going to be beneficial to me. And I know at some point down the road, this is life, guys. It's wildly unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen. Everything could change in an instant. So we don't take that for granted. Embrace the moment. Start looking for the little things that make you happy and joyful in your day, and you'll start finding more of them. Go to work on yourself because you're the greatest project that you will ever work on, okay? So be good to each other. Uplift each other, build each other up, be there for each other when we need it, guys. Everybody's mental health matters. It's an important thing, and it's a terrible thing in society. We see people struggling everywhere, but I think it's important also for people who've been through the ringer to step up to the plate and show people what's possible, okay? So this is talk number 8, guys. Prioritizing your mental health and wellness, dealing with toxic shame and dealing with the self-care practices and those things like that. Okay, guys. So thanks again for being here. I hope you're finding some of these talks useful. If you need somebody to talk to or you're looking for some guidance through some of these things, I do coach these types of stuff. I can help you with your mindset. I can help you understand the programming, help you get to the bottom of those beliefs, get them gone, and start building you up towards a better future. You can find me on Facebook at Mind Yourself and on Google, and you can find me on Instagram at Remind Yourself Coach and TikTok at _Mind Yourself Coach. So thanks again for being here, guys. This was talk number 8. We've got 2 talks left, so we're going to get into those in the next couple days. We'll have them up 1 per day. If you like, you can subscribe to the channel. I'm going to put a ton of video content up here and try to create as much change as I can for the men's mental health space, but also if you're a woman watching, I appreciate you, and I hope you found something useful here as well, okay? Have a great day, guys, and we'll catch you all tomorrow for talk number 9. Have a great day.